Chicago, 17 seconds. 17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead. Timeout, Utah. 5.2 seconds left. Michael Jordan running on fumes with 45 points.
At the end of the game, you gotta get it out of his hands. Jordan frees himself up for a clean look. The greatest thing about Jordan is he has all the tricks. That's why it's so difficult to guard him.
If that's the last image of Michael Jordan, how magnificent is it?
I don't think you can put it into words, Bob. I mean, what he's done here in this fourth period.
Hey guys, welcome back to our next video. Wasn't that clip amazing? Today we're talking about Generation Y, and some of the most iconic moments in sports during that time came from the hand of Michael Jordan. I'm sure that you've heard of him. Hey, yesterday we had the opportunity to meet some Gen Xers, and they can at times appear to be a little bit slow or slightly forgetful, but in God's eyes, they are an incredible asset to His work. Not only that, they are necessary to our own spiritual life and the growth of the church. And yesterday, you also took an intentional step to encourage these people in your family and maybe even in your church. And I just want to give you an incredible thumbs up for that. I'm so proud of the way that you stepped out and followed God's command of caring for the elderly in your world. What you did is an important first step too in relieving the generational worldview tension. And now today, we get to together explore the life of Generation Y. These are people that very generally were born sometime between 1980 and 1995. That would mean that they are under the age of 50, but probably above the age of 30. Very globally, again, most of your parents probably could call themselves Gen Yers. Now, we all know that teens experience things differently than their parents. Now, you've noticed that, right? Have you ever tried explaining to your parents what Snapchat is, or walking them through how to use an Instagram story, or showing them a friend's TikTok? That's exactly what I thought. They think and process through the world differently. And although we share the same world with our parents' generation, we definitely experience it slightly differently. Now, we need to answer the question, why is that? How can we share the same planet in the universe and see things differently? Well, to begin with, they grew up in a smartphone-less world. That's a pretty big deal. They grew up with the Walkman being just as cool as the iPhone 11 is now. They were born in a time that the Post-it note was invented. And I'm sure some of your dads have played with the earliest gaming systems, the one that looked like a bulky shoebox compared to our PS4. But at the same time, the world was getting more connected, and they coined the term our global village. More people than ever enjoyed traveling across continents for the first time. It was an exciting time to live. But Generation Y's world was not always a perfect one. All of your parents will definitely remember the attack on the World Trade Center on September 11, 2001. After that moment, their life would have been filled with a whole new category of what ifs.
It's 8:52 here in New York. I'm Bryant Gumbel. We understand that there has been a plane crash on the southern tip of Manhattan. You're looking at the World Trade Center. We understand that a plane has crashed into the World Trade Center. We don't know anything more than that. We don't know if it was a commercial aircraft. We don't know if it was a private aircraft. We have no idea how many were on board or what the extent of the injuries are right now. Which building are we talking about? The one that's westernmost?
Let's see. Yes, sir.
Did you hear the explosion from
yes.
your position?
Yes, we did. As a matter of fact, we heard it, and because I was just like standing there pretty much looking out the window, I didn't see what caused it or if there was an impact.
So you have no idea right now?
There's another one. Another plane just hit. Right. Oh, my God. Another plane has just hit. It hit another building. Flew right into the middle of it. Explosion. My God, it's right in the middle of the building.
This one into the east tower.
Yes, yes, right in the middle of the building. And right now, that was definitely looked like it was on purpose.
You saw a
Yes,
plane?
I just saw a plane go into the building.
Why do you say that was definitely on purpose?
Because it just flew straight into it.
Now, this terrible moment defined this generation in many ways. In fact, sociologists, people that study large movements of thought and change in our world, agree that this event shaped the way of thinking for all Gen Yers. Though even though they experienced this national tragedy, God has used Generation Y in powerful ways. The majority of churches, mission agencies, youth groups, church plants, they're all being led right now by people in the generation of your parents. And not only that, it is this generation that figured out not only how to make technology fun, but also incredibly useful for Christ's cause. We see this in the tech booth of your church, in the streaming services, in the planes that fly into the jungle, and in the Bible translation software, just to name a few examples. And then finally today, we want to answer the question again, what can we learn from Generation Y? A generation that, to be honest, has a different worldview than us because of their background and their age. And yesterday we saw that we are called to learn from and care for Generation X, our grandparents' generation. And today's challenge builds on that. We've said already, Gen Yers fill our youth leader positions, our lead pastor positions, our Sunday school, and our coaches. They're all most likely from Generation Y. So perhaps even more so than Generation X, Gen Y gives us the opportunity to enter into discipleship relationships. This is so important. Discipleship can very simply be defined as this. I find someone whose spiritual life I respect and want to learn from. That usually means someone that's older than I am, and that almost always means that they're of the same gender as I am. And then I try to learn as much as I can from them. Now that definitely involves some spiritual conversations. Maybe some of my questions can be answered. And that probably also means that they will challenge me at times. If they see something I need to grow in, they will call me out on that. But that also means that I will hang out with them and that I will learn from their rhythm of life. I think about my college experience where most of the discipleship happened during laid-back spiritual conversations over empty pizza boxes after watching a sports game. Hey, in short, our challenge for today is this. Who from Generation Y can I identify to help me grow spiritually? That may be a parent, a youth leader, or a teacher. And if you don't have someone like that, there's no better time than right now to grab your phone and shoot them a quick text. And I can almost guarantee that you finding a mentor, just another word for someone that disciples us, is probably one of the best things that you could ever do for your spiritual life.